Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Learn English, build confidence, and get inspired with powerful stories and vocabulary. Subscribe now, let's speak, shine, and succeed together.
Let me start with this truth. Your life does not rise to the level of your talent. It rises to the level of your voice. Right now, there are ideas trapped inside you, dreams sitting in silence, opportunities passing by because your mouth hasn't been trained to carry the weight of who you really are. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build, one word at a time. I'm going to give you 6 truths, not theory, not motivation that fades tomorrow. This is transformation. If you're willing to apply it, confidence is not something etched into your DNA at birth. It is not reserved for the loud, the charismatic, or the ones who seemed fearless from childhood. Confidence is built the same way strength is built, through intentional, uncomfortable repetition. Every confident speaker you admire once stumbled over words, doubted themselves, and felt the same tightness in their chest that you feel now. The difference is not who they are, the difference is what they chose to practice. When you label confidence as a personality trait, you give yourself permission to quit before you start. But when you understand it as a skill, everything changes. Skills can be trained, skills can be refined, skills respond to effort. The moment you accept this truth, you take back power that fear has been borrowing from you for too long. Most people confuse confidence with comfort. They think confident people feel calm, relaxed, and ready before they speak. That's a lie. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to act despite it. Skills are developed in tension, not ease. Athletes don't grow in comfort zones. Musicians don't master instruments by avoiding difficult pieces. Speakers don't become confident by staying silent. Your voice strengthens when you put it under pressure. Every shaky sentence you finish instead of abandoning halfway is training. Every time you speak when your heart is racing, you are wiring courage into your nervous system. Confidence doesn't arrive before action. It is the reward for action repeated consistently. When you say, "That's just not who I am," what you're really saying is, "I haven't practiced enough yet," and that's okay. But don't confuse lack of practice with lack of potential. Nobody walks into a gym expecting to lift heavy on day one. Yet people expect themselves to speak powerfully without training their voice, their clarity, or their delivery. That expectation is unfair and unrealistic. Confidence grows in stages. First, you speak awkwardly, then you speak clearly, then you speak boldly. Each stage is necessary. Skipping stages doesn't make you confident, it makes you silent. And silence is not safety, it's stagnation. A skill grows when it's used consistently, not occasionally. Speaking confidently is no different. You don't wait for big moments to practice. You train in small ones. You speak up in meetings. You articulate your thoughts instead of letting others interrupt you. You explain ideas fully instead of cutting yourself short. These moments seem small, but they compound. Every repetition tells your brain, "I can handle this." Over time, your body stops treating speaking as a threat and starts treating it as normal. That's when confidence begins to feel natural. Not because it always was, but because you earned it through repetition. Many people believe confidence should feel good immediately. But skills often feel uncomfortable before they feel empowering. When you're learning to speak with authority, there will be moments where your voice sounds unfamiliar, where you hear yourself and think, "Who do I think I am?" That discomfort is growth announcing itself. You are stepping into a version of yourself your nervous system hasn't met yet. Stay there, don't retreat. The more time you spend in that space, the more familiar it becomes. What once felt forced becomes fluid. What once felt scary becomes standard. That's how skills evolve, through patience, persistence, and tolerance for discomfort. Here's the truth most people never hear. Confidence is not about sounding perfect. It's about being willing to be seen while imperfect. When you wait to speak until you're flawless, you'll wait forever. Confident speakers allow themselves to be human. They trust that clarity beats perfection and conviction beats polish. They understand that skill is built in real time, not in imagination. Every sentence you speak is either strengthening your voice or weakening it. Silence is not neutral, it's a decision. And every decision shapes who you become. So choose to practice, choose to speak, choose to train your mouth the same way you'd train any skill that matters to you. Confidence is not who you are, it is what you repeatedly do. Train your voice long enough, and one day you'll realize you're no longer trying to sound confident. You simply are. Most people believe confidence is something that magically appears when the audience is big enough, the moment is important enough, or the pressure forces it out of them. That belief is exactly why they freeze when the spotlight hits. Confidence does not rise under pressure if it has not been built in privacy. What you practice in private determines how you perform in public. The strongest voices are forged away from applause, away from validation, away from eyes watching. They are shaped in quiet rooms, in cars, in empty spaces where there is no reward except growth. If you wait for people to listen before you learn how to speak, you've already lost control of your voice. Training your mouth in private is not about pretending you're on a stage. It's about mastering clarity when no one is there to rescue you. Speak your thoughts out loud exactly as you want them to sound. Complete sentences, strong endings, no trailing off. Your mouth must learn how to carry ideas with intention. When thoughts stay in your head, they remain unorganized and weak. When they come out of your mouth, they are forced to take shape. Speaking out loud turns confusion into structure. It sharpens your thinking and strengthens your delivery at the same time. This is where confidence begins, not in performance but in preparation. Many people underestimate how much their mouth needs training. You train your body, your mind, your skills, but you leave your voice to chance. Your mouth is a muscle system. It learns rhythm, it learns tone, it learns authority, and it only learns through repetition. Talk through your ideas while walking. Explain concepts as if someone is listening, even when no one is. Practice speaking without filler words. Practice holding eye contact with yourself in the mirror while finishing a thought without shrinking. These moments may feel awkward, but awkwardness is the entry price to mastery. The private reps you do now will protect you when pressure shows up later. Confidence in public is simply familiarity in disguise. When you've already heard yourself say the words 100 times, fear loses its grip. Your body doesn't panic because it recognizes the situation. You're not improvising, you're executing. People who appear naturally confident are rarely natural at all. They are familiar with their voice, familiar with their message, familiar with the feeling of speaking clearly and standing by their words. That familiarity is built when no one is watching. The world sees the result, not the repetition that mar. It possible. There is a deeper level to private training that most people avoid: honesty. When you speak alone, you hear the truth in your voice. You hear hesitation, you hear doubt, you hear uncertainty, and instead of hiding from it, you confront it. You adjust your tone, you strengthen your delivery, you repeat the sentence until it sounds like you mean it. This process builds alignment between your thoughts and your voice. When your mouth and your mind are in sync, confidence follows naturally. Not because you're pretending, but because you've eliminated internal conflict. Waiting for an audience to validate your voice gives your power away. Training in private gives it back to you. It allows you to walk into any room already grounded, already prepared, already confident in your ability to communicate. You don't need permission to speak when you've done the work. You don't need approval when you trust your preparation. The audience can feel it when a speaker has trained in silence. There's a calm authority in their tone, a steadiness that doesn't ask for attention, it commands it. The world only hears what you've already practiced. Train your mouth in private with discipline and intention, and when the moment comes, confidence won't be something you chase. It will be something you arrive with. Most people speak fast because they are afraid of silence. They rush their words as if the quiet might expose them, as if a pause means weakness. But the truth is the opposite. Silence is not the enemy of confidence. It is its evidence. When you slow down, you signal to the world that you are not nervous, not unsure, not scrambling for approval. You are grounded. You are in control. Speed comes from anxiety. Control comes from certainty. The moment you understand this, your entire relationship with speaking changes. You stop trying to get words out quickly and start allowing them to land with weight. Slowing down is not about speaking softly or sounding bored. It is about intentionality. Every word you say should have a purpose, and purpose needs space to breathe. When you rush, your message blurs. When you slow down, clarity sharpens. People don't trust speakers who overwhelm them, they trust speakers who guide them. A steady pace tells the listener, you don't need to rush, I know where we're going. That sense of direction creates authority. It makes people feel safe in your voice, and safety opens the door to influence. Your body responds to your pace before your mind does. Fast speech keeps your nervous system in a state of urgency. Slow speech sends a different signal. It tells your body that there is no threat. Your breathing deepens. Your posture straightens. Your voice drops into a more grounded tone. This is not performance, it's physiology. When you slow down, your body aligns with confidence. You don't have to force authority when your system is calm. It shows up naturally, carried in your tone, your rhythm, and your presence. Slowing down also gives you power over attention. In a world where everyone is rushing to be heard, the person who pauses becomes magnetic. People lean in when you don't rush to fill the space. They listen more closely when you allow silence to do some of the work. Silence creates anticipation. It gives your words room to echo. Confident speakers understand this instinctively. They are not afraid to let a sentence breathe. They trust the weight of what they've said enough to stop talking and let it settle. There is a discipline required to slow down, especially when emotions rise. When you care deeply about what you're saying, the urge to speed up becomes stronger. This is where training matters. You must practice speaking slowly when it feels unnatural. You must resist the urge to rush through important points. This discipline turns emotional intensity into controlled power. Instead of sounding overwhelmed by your message, you sound anchored in it. People don't follow frantic energy, they follow controlled strength. Slowing down transforms how people perceive you, but more importantly, it transforms how you perceive yourself. When you hear your own voice, steady and deliberate, your confidence deepens. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop second-guessing every sentence. You realize you don't need to prove anything, you only need to communicate clearly. That realization is freeing. It shifts speaking from a performance into an expression. And when expression replaces performance, confidence becomes sustainable. Slow down, and you will discover that power has always been waiting for you in the space between your words. Control the pace, and you control the room. Most people don't lose authority because of what they say, they lose it because of how they say it. Words without belief collapse under their own weight. The moment your voice sounds unsure, the message weakens no matter how intelligent or valuable it is. Confidence is transmitted before it is understood. People feel conviction before they analyze logic. If your tone hesitates, if your sentences trail off, if your delivery sounds like you're asking for approval, the listener subconsciously decides not to trust you. This is why belief is not optional. Your words must arrive already convinced, or they will never convince anyone else.